Your God shall not save you. Well, I guess I'll send one of these then. It was at this moment he knew he messed up. A few moments later, 185,000 troops, all dead. Shalom Aleichem, Assalamu Alaikum. First of all, I want to get this out of the way. Thank you to Charlie Morningstar from Amino Apps for the biblically accurate angel picture. That was terrifying. And second of all, welcome to 2nd Chronicles chapter 32. I hope you enjoyed that. I had fun doing it. There are 33 verses in this chapter. We're going to begin in verse 1. It says faithful dealing versus establishment. The footnote reads truth, so truthful dealing could be. Verse 4, he collected many people versus there was gathered much people. So they were gathered versus he had to go and collect them himself. Verse 5, and the towers, okay, talking about the towers were rebuilt versus he raised it up to the towers. So he built the wall up to the towers, meaning the towers were never broken to begin with. The strong place versus Millo, which means rampart or mound. Verse 6, encouraged versus spake comfortably. We've read this before, this similar difference. And in the footnote, it reads in the Greek, spoke to their heart. Verse 7, before, so don't be afraid before them, or dismayed rather, versus do not be afraid because of them, for them. So that is a distinction there. Hashem, our Elohim, to save us. Versus help us. So it's a lot clearer. He's going to save them, not just assist them in a small way, but not lead to victory. It's going to lead to them being rescued. Verse 8, a significant difference. It says, the people were encouraged versus they rested, which means leaned against or relied themselves on these words. Verse 11, significant difference again. Sennacherib says, deceive. Verse 11, okay, we're not even in the right verse. Verse 11, does not Hezekiah deceive you versus persuade you? So convince you versus lying, outright lying to you. Verse 15, significant difference again. It says here, and let him not make you thus confident versus not persuade you on this manner. So to be made confident or encouraged versus convince you, or perhaps a somewhat redundant statement to trick you and trick you. We have a big difference in this same verse, and this is the thumbnail. Essentially, he's saying, your God will not save you. Your Elohim will not save you. It says, therefore, your Elohim shall not deliver you out of my hand. Whereas it's a rhetorical question in the Masoretic saying, how much less shall your Elohim deliver you out of my hand? It's a lot more boastful and blatant in terms of mocking God and challenging him, challenging Elohim, the Elohim of Israel. Another big difference. This was the moment he messed up. Okay. So your Elohim will not save you versus you think your Elohim will save you. Again, a confident boast versus a rhetorical question. And they continued to add insult to injury. They did worse. They continued to speak against Hashem versus they yet spoke yet. Okay, so it continued on. Verse 17, a letter. He wrote a letter. Footnote reads a book. Why would he write a book? But it does say book, just to be fair. And the wording here, to reproach Hashem versus to rail, which means 4 different things and even more, but it just gets worse from here. Reproach, taunt, blaspheme, defy. Reminds me of Goliath when he defied the armies of Hashem, Adonai of hosts. Significant difference in the same verse, 17. It says, shall by no means deliver his people out of my hand. So there's no way, there's no chance your Elohim will save his people out of my hand. It's not going to happen. There is no way. It's not possible. Versus, so shall not the Elohim of Hezekiah deliver his people out of my hand. So it's not going to happen either. It's shall not versus it's more emphasis that there is no way this is happening. It's just more attitude there, more of a calling out, more of a mockery and challenging Elohim. Verse 18, significant difference, could be a big difference. It says calling, he cried with a loud voice to the people of Jerusalem, calling them to assist them. Who? The armies of Assyria. Assist them and pull down the walls that they might take the city. So he's enticing them, trying to convince them to actively betray their own people, versus to make them even more afraid, which is, it says here, to affright them and to trouble them. So let's add that. I don't think I wrote that. Oh, it is there. Okay. Verse 21. That's not a big difference. It's an omission of the word warrior. So it kind of lessens what the angel did. Defeated a lot more than just mighty men, even warriors as well. Verse 24, significant difference. Once again, it reads here that Hashem hearkened or listened to him, Hezekiah, versus he spake unto him. So Hashem spoke to him, which brings up a question. The Septuagint is saying he listened to him. Okay, that makes sense. He listened to his prayer. But if Hashem spoke to him, then why would he have to give him a sign? It kind of defeats the purpose of sending a sign. Verse 25, recompense Hashem according to the return which he made him, versus rendered not again according to the benefit done unto him. So that is pretty deep. Something to meditate on in terms of when Hashem has blessed us, we should also repay him in some way. I'm not sure how that can be expanded upon. It is a deep topic, it seems. Return versus benefit. Verse 27, precious vessels versus pleasant jewels. Right there at the end. Verse 20. Oh, no, we're skipping over to 31 now. Wrapping up this chapter. In this video, it says the prodigy which came upon the land versus the wonder that was done in the land. That makes a little more sense in the Masoretic. Let's look up that Hebrew word. And then verse 32, kindness versus goodness, which comes from the Hebrew chesed, which means actually both words. The footnote, however, reads mercy. And that's all for this chapter. So let's look at that word in closing. What is that word wonder? It is mopheth, which means wonder, sign, miracle, portent. So it's interesting they use the word prodigy. Okay, so that's all for this video. Thank you very much for your time. Till next time, I bid you well. Shalom Aleichem, Assalamu Alaikum, Irini Mazisu, Pax Obiscum. Peace be unto you, and Maranatha.